In the last video, we saw how you could make modifications to your macros by editing the VBA code. In this video, we're going to look at a few other tips and tricks for working with macros. To begin with, Alex has been asked to change the shortcut key to be Ctrl-Shift-N rather than Ctrl-Shift-T. Let's have a look at how we do that. We're going to come to our Developer tab and we're going to come to our Macros button. We've already seen how we can use this dialog to run and edit macros. The step into allows us to run the macro, but one step at a time. This is ideal if you're trying to solve problems with your macro. The delete button we'll look at very shortly. That allows us to delete a macro. And finally, the options button allows us to change the shortcut key. So we're going to click the options button, and instead of Ctrl-Shift-T, we want Ctrl-Shift-N. So hold the Shift button, press N, and then say OK, and we've now changed our shortcut key, so we can close that dialog. Now the other problem Alex still has to fix is when he put the date in, the column wasn't actually wide enough. And a lot of users don't know how to widen the column, so we need to update our macro to do this automatically. The only problem is Alex doesn't know the VBA code to widen the column. He could look it up on the internet, but an even easier way is to record himself widening the column and then just copy-paste that code into his original macro. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So let's start by making our column a little too narrow again so that we can record ourselves widening it. We're going to come back up to our record macro. We're going to call it temp because it's just a temporary macro, and we're going to click OK. We're now going to come up between the B and the C and double click on that line to auto widen our column. And then we're going to click stop recording. Let's go and have a look at that new macro. So back to our macros button, make sure you select temp and click edit. If you have a look in the Project Explorer, you will notice Excel has added a new module. So our new macro is in module 2. The new macro only really contains one line of code because we only performed one operation. What we want to do now is copy this line of code into our original macro, and we can do that just by copying and pasting. So we're going to select the code and then right-click copy or Control-C and come back to module 1, which contains our Create Timesheet module. And to open it, we're going to need to double-click. And there is our original macro. We're going to scroll right to the bottom, but remember everything must go before the end sub. So click at the end of the second last line and click enter, and then paste, Control-V or right-click paste. So we've now taken that new line of code and popped it into our original macro. Let's test that works. So don't forget Alt F11, come back to sheet 1, and click New Timesheet. We'll make this for the 9th of October. So 9, 10, 17. And once again has created the timesheet beautifully, but this time it has widened the column as well. So that change is working perfectly. We no longer need that temp macro, however. So the next step we need to perform is to delete it. We're going to come up to our macros button. We're going to make sure we've selected temp, and then we're going to press the delete button, and this will delete all the code associated with that macro. So click delete, click yes, and that macro has been removed. Finally, if I wanted to copy my new timesheet macro into a different workbook, that is also very easy to do. The first thing you need to do is open the workbook you want to copy it to. And to make our lives easy, we're just going to create a brand new workbook. So Control-N to get your new workbook up, and then Alt F11 to get back into your code. If you have a look in your Project Explorer window, here is our workbook we've been working with, and just above it you'll see our brand new Book 1. We want to take Module 1 and copy it to Book 1. To do that, all you need to do is click and drag the module and drop it onto the book where you want to copy it to, and you'll see a little modules folder has appeared below book 1, and if you click on the plus to expand it, there's our module 1. So we now have the macro in both workbooks, our original one and our new one. Just to recap then, we've had a look at how you can change your shortcut key by going to the Options button. We've had a look at how you can copy macros, and we've had a look at how you can delete macros. We have one more video left for you, and we're going to look at how we can create even more powerful and versatile recorded macros. So keep watching.